It's Wednesday! You know what that means!
I'm better than you, and you know it!
You fucking mark!
Listen, I get it!
Calm down, bro!
What is up, everybody? What is up? Happy Monday afternoon. Happy WrestleMania week for all of those who celebrate. And welcome to the Sports Jedi Network here on a Monday afternoon at 3:30. I am your host. I am PGH Chris TV. And this afternoon, we're going to get into AEW Dynasty from last night. If you guys missed the show, I mean, you guys didn't really miss much. It was a marathon. Didn't end as late as Revolution, but we'll get into that in a second. We'll get into all that stuff, throughout the show. I'm going to start with that, topic complaint off the jump. So bear with me, but I want to thank you guys here for joining me on a Monday afternoon. I know, we got a lot of wrestling this week. We have WrestleMania week. We got Raw tonight, NXT tomorrow, a lot of things going on. And we got a lot of great wrestling over the weekend. Still recovering from the night. Everyone's still recovering from tonight, like my guy, Hoss Knucklebrew, here on the Sports Jedi Network. Hopefully you're doing well, brother. And we will definitely talk about this next time I see you. But yes, people are still recovering from last night. And this weekend just got it's going to get more bigger and better. So hopefully. So bear with me here for an hour or so. A few hours here. Before we get into the video, before we get into the review, we want to thank our sponsors, G Fuel Energy, the official sponsor of PGH Chris TV. You can go use my promo code PGH Chris to save yourself 20% off, as well as Blackout Coffee here on the Sports Jedi Network. Blackout Coffee, use your promo code Sports Jedi 20 to save yourself 20% off a discount of black coffee. And those for people that don't like the energy drinks. I know a lot of people don't like the energy drinks. So if you don't like energy drinks and you like your coffee, go to Blackout Coffee. And Dude Wipes, official sponsor of Sports Jedi Network. We've been here before, WWE. Always want you guys to remember that. You see this right here. Use your text promo code DUDE20 to 59463 and we'll send you 20% off your next order. We're going to get into the show, guys. Coming up, let me introduce you guys, the founder here of the Sports Jedi Network, Kev. He's joining me now for the review. What up, Kev? How are you, man?
Happy afternoon. What's going on to you, Chris? How are you, man? Are you recovering? How many cups of G Fuel? I got like 5 cups of Blackout Coffee.
Did you watch it?
I watched it until I actually went to sleep a little bit happy. When I get to it, I'll tell you when I went to sleep.
Okay.
But I was a little pissed off before I was happy.
Interesting. I bet a lot of people were. We got Kev here, founder of Sports Jedi Network, joining me here. We did a good job doing the Revolution review around this time a couple weeks ago, actually. So we're here to talk to you guys about it now.
It feels like weeks, Chris. It was Saturday night.
That's crazy. Oh my God. And we got WrestleMania. We got Raw tonight, dude. Holy shit. Yeah. Haas is still recovering from the chat. I know he got some
shout out to Haas.
Shout out to Haas,
man. What a great addition to the channel, to the program.
Yes, dude. I'm having fun. He will we'll get into more of this on Wednesday. He will be here with me on Wednesday night. Which I gotta start off with the main event because of Wednesday night. Kev, I was wrong. I was right, but I was wrong. Now, bear with me for a second because I'm not happy. And Chris, why are you complaining if this happens? I will tell you why. I'm going to start with the main event. we had MJF versus Kenny Omega in the main event. It was a fine match. I know a lot of people had Kenny Omega winning. A lot of people had Kenny Omega winning. I was worried Kenny Omega was going to win. But it was a great match. It was a great heel win by MJF. Real quick, Kev, this match started at 11:37. I just wanted to point that out there. And Conrad Thompson on Twitter, imagine hating AEW. Conrad, it's the length of these shows. It's the length of these shows, Conrad. You take away the Orange Cassidy trios match and nobody cares. I don't think nobody has this problem. You had to add one more match that didn't mean nothing before this match, and you lost a lot of people on a Sunday night that have to go to work. Conrad, it's not about the show. It's the length of these damn pay-per-views. Is that fair to say? It's not, these shows aren't wrong. Nothing's wrong with the shows. It's the length of them on a Sunday night, Kev.
No, that's that. Yeah, you lost me at a certain hour of the night. I said, I got to go to sleep. It ain't worth staying up, especially getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was going up, putting on my clothes, and some, there was a reactionary podcaster breaking it down. Still on the air.
I still haven't listened to it, man. There's no way. I was at work this morning. I don't know how. I could never. Even if I didn't have to go to work in the morning, dude, I would not stay up to cover this show. Nothing really happened on this show that you need to be talking about. But this is important. MJF wins. And, you know, I'll break down the match a little bit. It was good. You know, the referee, a lot of V triggers. I'll give you my favorite moments of the match before I really get into what my problem is. And then before we get into that problem, Kev, I'm going to ask for your take on the match itself. I liked MJF, you know, hitting the V, or Kenny Omega hitting the V triggers, MJF hitting his move, taunting him. I enjoyed that. I think MJF got over, not over, but heelish over with the crowd. The crowd was really behind Kenny. Kenny was, you know, I don't know if he's selling those ribs, but selling those ribs, which is I wish something Will Ospreay would do in his neck, which I'll get into that later. But I like Kenny Omega selling the ribs. MJF work getting the diamond ring out of the referee's pocket. I enjoyed it. I don't like how Kenny Omega just hits so many V triggers. He hits the one-legged angel off the top rope, and MJF just rolls out of the ring like it's nothing. You don't even let them, and I hate that I'm even criticizing MJF on this because I think he's great. But MJF, Maxwell, you just got V-triggered off the top rope. This is a guy who's, Kenny Omega, nobody's kicked out of the V-trigger. And if you have, it's been very, very few people. Just like how they protected the shit out of Baron Corbin's finisher in WWE back then, they protect Kenny Omega's one-legged angel. And you had MJF just roll out of the ring after he does it on the top. There were certain, they did their finishers a lot. Kenny Omega repeated V-trigger to the knee. I have it on my notes. V-trigger to the knee, V-trigger to the knee. MJF gets in the ring. Kenny Omega charges at him. V-trigger into the ring. A lot of repetitive moves in this match. I think the beginning kind of was, the first half of the match was definitely better than the second half of the match. But we know Kenny Omega's probably not going to be around. That was probably the last time he challenges for a world title, you know, just because maybe his health. I don't think he's going to be around much longer. Before I get into the real complaint about it, what did you think about the overall match itself and MJF getting the victory?
It went 39 minutes, right? I didn't see it. I saw highlights. I said, thank God I didn't watch it. Be honest with you. You know why I said thank God I didn't watch it?
38 minutes and 55 seconds.
If I would have saw that live, I would have pulled the stream today of everything AEW on my channel. Because I am bought by the blood of Christ. I am a man of faith. I don't need somebody insulting or acknowledging or praising the devil. I'm totally turned off. Max could go who he worships, who he represents, and he could go that way. Keep that energy away from me and my channel. I'm going to be totally honest with you. You chose. What are we doing here? You want to be safe for kids? You have bags over people's heads, dunking people's heads in a fucking fish tank, asphyxiation, needles through the side of the cheeks, and now you're worshiping the occult XXX. What is this? What the hell is this? Things that we don't put in wrestling: politics and freaking religion. And the AEW has done both. I'm telling you, I'm getting really close to say I'm sorry, PGH Chris. We might not be covering this company because it's away from my cores and values of what I'm thinking about. And I'm actually shocked. I'm going to call someone out. So, Aaron, you love wrestling and you read the Bible. Where the hell is that? Where's the double standards? Oh, you loved it? Did you? The wrestling was great, but that in presentation, we're told not to mix with the world and the world stuff. And I don't want to make it about religion, but I'm glad I went to sleep and I didn't see that. And I didn't lose my peace and I didn't toss and turn over that shit. He's a good in-ring person, but you know what? If that's what he stands for and that's his beliefs, God bless him. That's his thing. Oh, I pray that he gets saved. But me personally, I ain't going to say shit about him and MJF. I have nothing to say. He could go worship who he likes to be with.
Yeah, no, I you got to respect other people's religion, no matter what side of the end you fall on. That goes in life, not just professional wrestling. So, yeah, I mean, I clearly don't blame you if anybody else that will get turned off by his gimmick. He does do that. He did his entrance at All In,
and I know he did the. Chris, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
I know he does the gimmick, the devil gimmick with the mask and stuff. That's great. But when you come out with an upside down cross, you tattoo the numbers and you do all that, you're going a little bit beyond BR.
It reminded me of Edge at WrestleMania 39.
And back then, if you watched the watch along, I hated it and I disliked it. And ever since then, I loathe Edge.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry about that. I tell you, I'm a little bit of a ranty mood.
That's again, you got to respect people's religion no matter what side of the end. You have freedom to freedom of speech, and we're lucky to have that where we are. Not to make it about that, but I completely understand if you are turned off or anybody is turned off by the devil gimmick. In this sense, they try, and it felt like that the build too, because it was like the god of pro wrestling, right, with the devil of wearing AEW. I don't know.
That was all right, but when the actions, Chris, those actions, I didn't like it when Undertaker did the Ministry of Darkness. We were turned off. We didn't let the kids watch it. You could ask Austin. Yeah. We didn't let the kids watch it.
Yeah, no, I believe it. Again, that's I know he got a lot of stuff back then with that Vince and all that stuff. But let's get into the real reason,
yes.
I have with. So MJF wins. Kev.
That's the right decision, by the way.
It absolutely. Now, I'm going to talk about Darby Allin versus Andrade. And I want to tie these two. Kev, I could not wait to talk about this all day. Haas,
I just opened a code one for Andrade's push.
Haas, yes, I know Kev put your comment. I just saw it. My apologies, but I was really, listening to Kev because he was talking there. Aaron, how are you? Yes.
Hi, Aaron.
Haas, this is what I was DM'd you about yesterday. I don't know if I actually sent it because I fell asleep, but I wanted to tell you this last night. And Kev, too, I was going to make a group chat about it. So MJF wins. We got Darby Allin and Andrade. I'm sorry if I'm all over the place with this review, but I could not wait to talk about this specific thing. And the reason why I'm starting off with these two matches, because it obviously blends together. I thought the match was fine. This was one of the few times that, I know people call Darby somebody, a lot of people, Jim Cornette likes to call him a stunt double or a stunt dummy or whatever.
Crash test dummy.
A crash test dummy, yes. I agree. I agree. But in this match, I thought he did a little more wrestling. Andrade kicked out of the coffin drop, which why have him lose anyway? But I guess, the pin, they try to do something creative here. It puts Andrade over. Darby goes over against Andrade. Two questions. Why did Andrade show Darby respect at the end of the match? You're supposed to be this mega heel, bro. You're just because baby faces are getting shots at the AEW title. First off, you lost 2 opportunities already, so you shouldn't even be considered for an AEW title. You lost to Hangman in Australia and you lost last night. Why are we turning Darby or Andrade babyface? Number one. Number two, this is the whole thing I've been waiting for. This exact line. Why are we getting Darby Allin versus MJF on Dynamite? You really want MJF to lose to Darby Allin so he could chase into New York and win it? No. You're really going to crown Darby Allin AEW World Champion in his hometown a year too late. A year too late, everybody. Kev, this is a year too late. You should have given Darby Allin an opportunity at the world title after All In. He should have been the first person to go against Hangman after All In. We shouldn't have got that rematch between Jon Moxley and Hangman. It should have been Darby. Or you shouldn't. You know what? I was for it. I was for the outside endeavors because I want people to have a life outside of pro wrestling, especially the talent. You should have said, excuse my language, you should have said, fuck Mount Everest, and you should have been the one to take the title off Moxley. But no, now AEW has this great momentum. I'm enjoying the hell out of it for the most part, except they're creative, and they're going to throw all of it away to give Darby Allin a moment in his hometown. And what? We're going to have MJF winning in New York so we could have Ospreay go winning in England? No, Kev. I'm not going to have it. And I know I told you and Haas on Saturday I was going to go off. If Darby Allin beats MJF, screw Kenny Omega beating him. Darby Allin. I told Haas on our review show this Wednesday, when you saw Kenny Omega hit MJF and he stood tall, I told Haas that was Darby Allin. I would have went nuts. How do you think I'm going to react if he actually wins? And people are going to tell me I'm not going to go. Why are you going to go in a tantrum if Darby Allin? Because I like the way AEW is going right now. Their ratings are higher. Their television, for the most part, is interesting because of MJF. And they're going to throw it away for what? And I know for what? I saw somebody online. I'm not going to give your name out. Somebody online said, oh, well, they're going to have Darby Allin win it too. You know, we're WrestleMania weekend. Give AEW a shake. They don't need it. They needed the shake for MJF to win the title, and they got that. The next shake we should be talking about is Ospreay going into Wembley. That's what we should be building to. Kev, I'm sorry for the rant, but it annoys me that we are getting this match so fucking early. Where's the build? These guys had a good enough build when it was the 4 pillars, and we can't get this one-on-one. We were supposed to get this one-on-one at that time.
Having this nice cold beverage like Andrade's push.
We don't know if Darby's going to win. I'm sick and tired of no. Why are we getting the match? I don't care if we don't know if Darby's going to win. I don't care if he loses. Why are we not getting the match at Double or Nothing? Go ahead, Ken.
I don't know, but I think Andrade and Darby, especially Andrade, they had a real stiff one, man. All signs are pointing forward. I tweeted that out. Why did Andrade had a freaking boner shaking the hand of Darby Allin? That they should have had that sponsor with Blue Chew. I mean, goodness gracious. Like, really? I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? By the way, the crash test dummy at Pendejo had one of his best matches, other than the suicide dive that he almost killed himself. But for one of his Pendejo matches, he actually had a good one. It was actually nice and organized for him to win.
Shout out to Andrade.
All they're doing is trying to take some headlines away from WrestleMania weekend. If Darby decides to win, and the sickos and the fans, the Darby lovers, gets excited that Darby is your new AEW World Champion, or just talking like myself. Like, imagine you going on a rant that Darby won. You're not going to be talking about WrestleMania. You're going to be talking about what are AEW doing? Oh my God, I can't believe why they're going that direction. That's all it is. And I also have another theory. These pay-per-views are 4.5 hours, 5 hours long. Tony Khan is trying to tire out the wrestling fans so they don't tune into Monday Night Raw. Plain and simple. That's why he stacks these cards up. He makes it so long, 5.5 hours. Come on, people on a Sunday, they're not going to go back to back, and especially with Rebellion. Some people, your Rebellion, Collision, then Sunday 4.5, 5 hours, and then you're going to sit down for 3 hours for Monday Night Raw when it's not that great and it's a go home show. Yeah, good luck with that. He's not stupid. That man knows what he's doing. He's not. He's an analytics person in the football and for the Jaguars. He runs the analytics department. He knows, get them tired, make them long, make it run. Because when was it? When you guys did your review on Wednesday, there was like about 8 matches maybe.
Oh my God. And then I told Haas, I was like, we did our Dynasty preview. And if you go back and watch it, one of us goes, watch them add in matches Saturday night. And that's what they did. That's what they did. I'll get into that in a second. But look, I don't want to see Swerve and MJF at Double or Nothing. I'll be honest. We have not seen Swerve in what? Almost a month now. You want us to take Darby Allin serious. You want us to get back that invested in the Darby Allin the way we were before he climbed Everest. Before we were the way before the Death Riders, took him out. Why not build this feud up? You're going to give it to me already? Or what? Because Darby Allin does a couple backstage vignettes on Dynamite and says, I want the winner of the match?
No, they're going into his hometown, his home city.
That's
it. That's why.
And you wonder why I think he's going to win.
It could be because the owner loves him. You know what? That's a 50. If you could go in easily going 50-50 on Wednesday on if the title is going. The conventional smart wisdom is keep the title on MJF. But I don't know. Can you really ignore the fact that Darby Allin is loved by the owner, where the owner purposely allowed him to go to account? Oh yeah, go Mount Everest. When the most selfish move ever, because last year they needed him. They needed him the most. Everybody hated Moxley hiding that world title in that briefcase. The whole story with the ratings plummeting. And by the way, everyone is going crazy that these ratings are going high and they're going great. Now basketball, NCAA, and college basketball is gone. TNT basketball coverage is out. Then you're going to find out if those ratings are going to really stay where they're at, their 700s. So have your party now, because the NCAA basketball and all the basketball, all the sports are done. Now the NBA playoffs,
NHL playoffs,
and NHL playoffs. Let's see you pop a 700 rating. That's all I got to say.
I mean, they can with MJF as their champion. If they screw it all up, dude, I promise you, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. One thing I want is
good luck on the stars.
It's not the fact that I'm going here that Darby's going to win. You're right. Doesn't mean Darby's going to win. But why am I getting them? Do you guys, no disrespect, do you love just everything thrown at you in one fucking shot? And do you not like a build? Is that a lost? Like, I love AEW for the matches, but is that something that the pro wrestling fans lost, especially the AEW fans, was the build to a match, a championship match? They don't have that here. That's why I don't want to see it. It's not about I think Darby Allin's going to win, even though I do think he is. It's why am I getting it right now? Let me build. You have Double or Not. It's not that far away. It's in less than a month. Build this up. You're going to New York City. I mean, Darby Allin in New York City doesn't really have the best track record, but
Chris, we got to shout out Miss Marie Shadows for Square Circle.
Of course. I was getting to her comment in a second right here because I wanted to read it because I agree. I never thought about the AEW pay-per-view just so long it could tire out the fans not to tune in the Monday Night Raw. Shout out to Marie Shadows first off. I wanted to address your comment because I was going to say that to Kev. I never really thought about it like that. I could see why, he might want to do that, especially with WrestleMania weekend. I just think the diehards are going to watch. We're going to watch. We're going to cover.
Of course.
There's nothing Tony could do to this entrance. Look, WWE's already kind of doing that for themselves to some people.
But some people can't help themselves to keep adding. And
that's my fear. And that's my fear. That's my fear. You understand me, Marie Shadows. I understand you. I appreciate you for always showing us love, especially on Saturdays, Kev. She's always showing us love.
Absolutely.
On the Instagrams. Darby Allin said he was going to chase the title back in February. By the way, yeah.
Yep.
So it's now April. It is now April. But yes, look. I'm praying Darby Allin doesn't win the AEW World Championship on Wednesday. it's going to make no sense. MJF, out of all people, should not feel like a transitional champion. And if he just wins it back in Double or Nothing, he's going to lose it at Wembley.
I don't think so.
You don't. I do. I think he loses it at. I think I'm not. Look, we talked about this. It's one of those things where what do I want to happen? What do I think is going to happen? Obviously, I want MJF. But come on. Why do you think I'm getting so worried about Darby Allin winning it in Seattle? It's because they're going to Wembley. This is why Ospreay's back. Ospreay had a neck fusion surgery, and he's back for this very moment. Tony was probably like, I want to put the title on you, and you got hurt. He's like, no, bruv. This is my moment. I got this shit tatted on me from the first time I was here. It's not a good move, but I think that's why it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's if he's healthy enough and makes it.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that, Kev, because Ospreay versus Moxley. Again, if this is all over the place, I apologize. We're just going with the flow right here. But you did bring up Will Ospreay and his neck. Dude, you know how uncomfortable it is to watch your favorite wrestler who people already hate, first off. I get so much shit, and I take it, I get already so much crap by my host, by my partner for being a Will Ospreay fan, just like the internet.
No, I wouldn't get at you. I hate his whole fucking psychology of wrestling. I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. I'm going to be totally honest. You got hit with a pack shift. Motherfucker, you want to come with a hidden blade after you got fucking DDT'd on your fucking neck? Fuck you! You fucking fucked my wrestling. My fucking 45 years of fucking watching professional wrestling. You got hit with a fucking power driver on the fucking stairs. Then you got hit with a paradigm shift. Then you got hit with a Death Riders to finally put you down. Fuck you, Will Ospreay, and fuck you with the way you fucking wrestle. Enough of that with him. Fuck that. He fucking ruins wrestling for me. That piece of shit. That's when I was happy you fucking lost, and I went to sleep. And I went to sleep fucking happy.
Okay,
that was everything.
First off, Aaron, if we get Death Riders versus the United Empire at Anarchy in the Arena, I'm not covering the show. I'm not wasting my time talking about a bullshit Anarchy in the Arena match. No thanks. Yeah, Marie Shadows did get a lot of shit for her Ospreay comment. Look, I have to agree with Kev to a certain degree, because Moxley cannot hit you with two pile drivers on the steel steps and then you come back in and hit your hidden blade. Now, losing the match was the right outcome. I thought it was I enjoyed the match. I didn't enjoy those spots. I enjoyed the authenticity between these two. This is Ospreay's first big match back at a pay-per-view. Moxley, he's still over despite, them doing everything they did at All In last year, and it didn't do anything for him. It made him over, not, it was supposed to wind him down. Never did that. So this was a good match. Ospreay does not need the Continental Championship. His motive, his goal is to go compete in the Owen and go challenge whoever at this point the AEW champion is at All In. But dude, one thing, like what I was gonna say, dude, I know the moves and the selling. This guy's literally one DDT away from calling it. I have nothing else to add on what Kev said, because I was, I agree. I was gonna say that because it's come on. It's
Chris.
Sell that a little bit.
Chris, even the most safest, one of the safest workers who's been taught in the dungeon, the late Owen Hart dropped Stone Cold Steve Austin in his height and almost crippled him on a DDT on a tombstone. Mistakes happen. Why are you even testing faith when that man, if you guys say that's your future, that's your AEW Messiah, why are you messing around with his neck? Why? And also, if he would have not wrestled Vanilla Baby Blake Christian, who nobody fucking remembers his matches, and he would have not bought his fucking waiters from the Olive Garden to go out there and help him, if he would have went in the match last night and the match would have started and the motherfucker would have hit him with the hidden blade and pinned him 1, 2, 3, oh my God. You know what? That's the guy that's gonna go to Wembley to beat MJF. But no, he had to do a tornado a moonsault to show the sickles on a Wednesday and all this other shit. Bro, you want you talk about you want to build a megastar without him even talking on the microphone? The way that match started, when he hit him with the hidden blade, and he says, "Oh no, I got all this time." If he would have got him with the hidden blade and pinned him right there, and so what? You would have had a squash 3 seconds match on Moxley. That's the former world champion. Yo, Ospreay is back. If that was the first time he would have got physical in the ring, and he would have hit him with that, Ospreay is back. Oh shit, yo. MJ, I don't care. MJF could call himself all this. MJF could call himself the devil. I think we got our AEW Messiah right there with that hidden blade. But no. But you guys want to entertain for nonsense with his neck. That's why I get mad, Chris. Now, and also with the selling. Also that. Because you had a great monster opportunity to maybe convince people that don't like him, like myself, to say, oh shit, they're really putting this rocket ship behind him. But no. You guys decided they want to do Blake Christian, a couple matches with Blake Christian, and multi-man. What is it? Chaos in Canada. But I digress. That's why you get mad with this company. And that's why you can't get mad with the psychology and the thinking behind it.
Look, no disrespect. This guy said it wasn't a major neck surgery.
It's neck fusion. It's neck fusion. Go. Then you go play with your spinal cord.
How is a neck injury not a major surgery?
That's your spinal cord.
And
your spine.
And you know what? Come on. And Danielson and Copeland, what are they doing? Danielson won the title at Wembley 2 years ago, and Copeland just had a match, which we'll get into later on. So it's not that. Listen, I'm not hating. I love Will Ospreay again. I don't like the way he has looked since coming back. I would have liked this to be his first match. I would have liked this to be the first time that us, the audience, sees Will Ospreay in the ring since coming back at Revolution. That's all I wanted. I do not want a United Empire and Death Riders or Anarchy in the Arena. Why? Why would we want that?
Would you have gotten mad if he would have done that? As a Will Ospreay fan, seriously, if he would have came in there and hit him blade and pinned Moxley 1, 2, 3, I know you want the title, but I know the title, whatever. It's not about the title, but him showing that dominance on that hidden blade. Would have been as an Ospreay fan like, oh shit? I think you would have exploded, like, oh, here we go.
Right? No,
is it hindsight? Or is it hindsight 2020 because you already saw the matches and you really don't care? It's fair enough to say I don't know. I really don't know.
It's a tough one because we did see these guys kind of mix it up on Dynamite. So it's like,
but if they never did, let's say we're in another Ultimate Universe, they never had physicality, promos. I'm back. You know what? You don't know pull apart because you cannot be physically until the day of the match. And the day of the match, you get that first look at Will Ospreay getting physical is that hidden blade, and he would have won when that dominant. That would have been like Mike Tyson coming out of jail and knocking out Peter McNeely. Boom, boom. Like, oh, shit. Tyson's back. Oh, damn. I don't know. I just, maybe I'm seeing something or crossing boxing or pro wrestling, which they don't mix, but I'm using that analogy. Or if John Jones comes on an octagon and he comes in and he gets the knockout. Or the Jorge Masvidal when he took Aspen and he hit him with the knee. And as soon as the match started, he came in and he knocked him right up with the first shot. You're like, oh, shit. And then Jorge Masvidal became the baddest motherfucker. Like, oh, damn. Those things, those are a way of building a lore, like, oh, damn, invincibility. I thought they could have done that with Ospreay. Like, oh, like especially you trying to sell 75,000 tickets at Wembley, he gets that type of dominant victory like that. I think people would have gotten really excited and really crazy, want to go and see the end game that he's going to go in Wembley, and they would have sold more tickets. But you get people accustomed, like the same way people see blood every week on and this is one of the rare pay-per-views that didn't have any blood. I guess they didn't have it always for
Adam Copeland blood. Blood.
But I mean the norm. Like my goodness, Moxley didn't even bleed. I was like, whoa, just in his lip. They had a little bit of a hit in the lip. I was shocked.
Let me ask you a question. If Jericho would have had a match before last night, would you guys would have given a shit about watching him and Ricochet?
No.
I want you guys in the comments to answer that question for yourself. Come on. You don't need to go on TV and have a TV match to get reps in pro wrestling. You know what that's called? Training. Is that fair to say? Training.
Yes.
You don't need to go out and have a match to get reps in the ring. Reps in the ring is how you get hurt. People, and I know we even had this discussion because when Finn Balor and CM Punk were having their match going into, I forget what match they were going into, going into WrestleMania this year. And so injuries can happen. I'm like, that's exactly why you don't do that. That's exactly why you don't have Will Ospreay do that, because injuries can happen in wrestling. I understand that, but that is the exact reason why he shouldn't.
I'm going to give you the other side of the coin. Veterans don't need the reps. Veterans could call a match on the fly, get in there, and go. When they're not, depending on the amount of experience a wrestler has, they could use a television match here and there. It's per case by case, wrestler for wrestler. To be fair, Chris. To be fair, it depends on the wrestler. Certain wrestlers, like if Ilya Dragunov is coming back from injury, you don't throw him in a match without wrestling because he doesn't have that much of experience. The same thing with, maybe he's been doing that for a while, but to get in there and get going. If you got a veteran like an Edge, or when you have a veteran like a Seth Rollins, they could go in their code and get in and go in there and have a great match. Mm-hmm. It all depends on the talent and the years in the business. To me, Roman doesn't wrestle TV matches, but he still puts on a really good match on a pay-per-view. That's there on a PLE pay-per-view. It matters on certain wrestlers. They could use it, yes.
Yeah, I don't.
And that's true. Any wrestler could get hurt at any match at any given time. They could even they could even pull a muscle putting on their ring gear. We've heard it many times. Wrestlers have gotten injured putting on even their own ring, lacing their own boots. They pull on a muscle, or they could get a spasm. Anything could happen. It's a physical contact sport where they're using every bit of every muscle, every fiber of their physical body, and anything could happen. Even going up the steps in the ring, going through the ropes, they could pull a groin. Anything could happen.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think we needed to see Will Ospreay have a match before Dynasty.
No,
Tony, clearly has some of you guys brainwashed. He doesn't have me brainwashed. Didn't care for it. But no, this was a good match. It was a fine match. Couple of the spots again.
And here's the thing. Let me ask this. Pay-per-view, I thought and I was confused because I hear nothing that Moxie's going to go an hour. They a 20-minute time limit where other pay-per-view when he took on Okada, when would he wrestled for that Continental title last pay-per-view? Well, nevertheless, one of the guys, it was a 60-minute, and this one was 20 minutes, and they were making it emphatic 20 minutes. I was a little confused. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm happy they didn't go 60 minutes.
No.
Very, very
18 minutes. I got to give credit to this. I'm going to give credit to the whole card here. Other than the main event and a couple of tag teams, I believe, of course, the Bucks pushed it to 20 minutes. Everything was under 20 minutes. It didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Just the Casino Gauntlet was 21, but you had a bunch of men. You had 10 men. They gave it 21 minutes. Everything, the match was 18 minutes for Will Ospreay, almost 40 minutes, 39 minutes for the main event, which is the main event. But here's the problem. When you have such a long card, do you really think 40 minutes for the main event is, your crowd is going to be exhausted? But that's another, I got to give a lot of credit to the matches were much more controlled pace-wise. It still was long, but it was controlled pace-wise.
No, I agree. I agree. And, it's that co-main event that should have never been added onto the show. This show, I'm not complaining about the length too much. If they don't have, and it's not because Orange Cassidy, it's why the War Dogs just won the AEW Trios titles, and now you got Gabe Kidd hurt. That's and again, we just had that conversation. I'm not going to go there, but whatever. Let's let's talk about something.
He dislocated his shoulder.
He dislocated his shoulder, and right.
Last
Keep in
time,
mind, and ended at 9 p.m. local time. Yeah. Well, guess what? Not everyone's in local time. They're not going to be in local, or they're going to be in the East Coast when they do Double or Nothing.
he had that last person that dislocated his shoulder. Now, different people are different severity of dislocation. Liv Morgan was out 3 to 6 months. So I don't know how long Gabe Kidd is going to go.
Well, I'll get into that in a second. But I want to talk about something that happened on the pre-show, and I'm not going to get too riled up here. I think I actually kind of liked everything, all the rest of the
pre-show. Let's go with that one. I got something nice to say in the pre-show.
Right. So obviously we know the talk of the time. I'm just going to go through the honorable mentions for the results. Jack Perry defeated Mark Davis for the AEW National Championship via pinfall. Whoa, yes. The championship they made just to feel have Ricochet feel important. Yeah, her. Megan Bayne and Lana Cross, the AEW Women Tag Team Champions, defeated Hayan and Maya World by pinfall. Maya World by pinfall. I have no idea who they are.
Here's one thing I want to say something about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bravo to Hayan World and Maya World and Hayan.
You ladies, those the ladies that filled in for Tegan Knox.
You ladies killed it. You had me thinking, yo, is Tony really gonna put an upset? And they had me believing that Maya World and Hayan were actually had an opportunity to beat Megan Bayne and Lena Cross at a moment's time. The counter from the move from Maya and Hayan World when she went for the double DDT on the both Glamazons, the match was very good. These girls, I know people roll their eyes or they want to go get entertainment or refreshments or drinks or go drain the lizard or whatever the case is, go for Dew Wipes cleanse. These girls, they were very entertaining. By the way, that's our sponsor of the night, Dew Wipes and G2 Energy. So don't forget G2 Energy.
Don't forget Blackout Coffee if you don't like energy.
Blackout Coffee, absolutely. You're going to need that this morning if you were up like Haas.
Yeah, I know, man. Holy hell.
I like those two. They were very, and I want to give them. They put on that was to me on the pre-show. That was my entertaining match. I really was entertained with them. I really, really loved that tag team match. And I was like, why couldn't they put this on a Collision? Why? And you know what? I'm glad they put this on the pay-per-view 0 hour. But personally, for me, I enjoyed the match.
Right. No, yeah, that's good. I think, they brought those AEW tag team championships there. I think Megan Bayne and Lana Cross, I like them as a tag team, even though I do think Megan Bayne should, be focused on solos, but her, Penelope's out. You possibly could have done maybe Penelope and Lana, but obviously, with that. So I like Megan Bayne and Lana. They're cool. I like to see them have the titles for a little bit longer. And then maybe they can beat them. I agree with Aaron. They're definitely future AEW Women's Tag Team Champions. And I think last night definitely proved that. But the big news, Alex wins there, of course, defeated Marina Shafir. Actually surprised Marina Shafir didn't win that one, but
I was surprised too. I was
right?
like,
yeah.
What? It's like, I had a double check. Like, what? Are you sure? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised she didn't win that one, but Alex Windsor defeats her. The big one, this is why I'm saving this one for last. I want to get into the most. Camille returns. Camille is back for now. She attacks Willow Nightingale in the back. She has a match against Big Ann in a squash match. Wins by pinfall. And then she challenges Willow for the TBS title this Wednesday night on Dynamite. Kev, this is only to show her on TV. They're not going to mention it. I'm gonna tell you. I'll say that right now. They're not going to mention it. This is because she's on American Gladiators. And
they mentioned American Gladiators.
Oh, did they? I know Willow was like, when you're done being a gladiator, but I mean, like, they're not going to put a graphic with Warlow.
No, they're not going to put a graphic, but they mentioned it. With commentary
okay.
did.
Oh, okay.
Commentary did. This is only Tony Khan trying to politic to get a deal on Prime, because I don't think with Warner Brothers Discovery and all that merger with Paramount, they might not have no television location, no streaming deal, no network to go to. And if you just show favor and promote Prime, you're gonna get there, and that's what it is. They mentioned, and that's all it is. It's just him curving favor to the American Gladiator on Prime, so they can watch the show on Prime, where it's hosted by The Miz. That's all it is.
No, I agree. And Aaron, I agree with
She's
you.
impressive. She's impressive.
She's
Camille's
impressive.
impressive.
She's impressive, but I'm not gonna go off about this. I genuinely asking, why should Camille have a world champ or TBS title match when I haven't seen her on TV
Almost
in
2
over
years.
2 years? The last time I saw her on
530 Florida.
screen was Queen of the Ring. I don't think she should. I like that she's going after Willow. I think that's a good match for her and Willow. But I don't know if this match should have happened right away. I would have liked to see Camille. She said she was back. I would like to see her maybe, I don't know, cut a promo.
But it was an open challenge then.
It was an open
apparently,
challenge. I'm not
apparently,
mad
my chat is telling me it was an open challenge.
It was an open challenge.
Okay.
I was gonna, yeah. It was an open challenge. I get that. I understand that. But again, she's gonna do that. What happens with these open challenges? We haven't seen somebody. Hiro Shida comes back for an open challenge, and we don't see her. This is what this is. This is not fair to Camille. She's being used.
Yeah, exactly.
She's being used because of her role in American Gladiators. Again, I'm not pissed off about it. I'm just telling you guys the truth. I love to see a Camille on AEW Dynamite. She has good height. I would like to see her and Megan Bayne do a program together now that Megan Bayne actually knows how to
Lena Cross.
Lena Cross. I would like Camille and Tekla. Like, I'm not again. I like it. But again, oh my God, dude. I'm sorry. I'm starting to I'm not even gonna entertain that because it's the same shit. I mean, I'm talking about Dynasty.
Why is it every time we're talking about AEW we have to bring?
I'm talking about AEW.
But let's leave the other companies out for now. Forget about it. They got their own problems and their own issues. They need to go on their own therapy session, their own couch. Let's keep it to the Elite Wrestling with their just because they jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, you're gonna jump off the Brooklyn Bridge too. As the saying go. Let them, if they jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, they say, hold on. We're talking about here. We don't want, for this brand, they people out of nowhere from that was gone for a while for that quick microwave pop where you have people in the trenches that have been in there that should have challenged Willow. Statlander. What's up with Statlander? What happened? Yeah. What happened? She's now she's no good no more. She's just as tall as Camille and big. Maybe Statlander says no. You're not. I'm the one. You got to beat me if you want to go through Sue Willow. Kind of a number one contenders. If Willow's still, it's just build some story with it. You had a chance to build a little story with it. Where what, especially let's face it, majority of the people are going to be talking about WrestleMania week. So try to build this opportunity to build some story. See if it hits. If it doesn't hit on your AEW Dynamite, and you build a little story, and then next week you want to go back. Balls to the walls, wrestling after all the WrestleMania, and all the eye focus will be on there. And according to you guys, you're going to think it's going to be terrible. So build some stories for the company to plant some seeds where, Camille is coming after Willow for that world title, but she's got to go through Statlander first, or this other ladies in that division there. And here's the one thing: now that we're talking about Camille and all this Ira and all this, she should be world champion. I gotta say this. But it's okay for the Ring of Honor men's world champion to be on and try to chase for a TBS title. I know it's a little bit over the place, but where's Athena then? Why couldn't Athena challenge for the TBS title as well? Because you had Bandito trying to get the TNT title, whatever the mid card title. Why couldn't Athena then be the one to attack and gone with an angle that she's frustrated of not being on the main show trying to get that TBS title?
This is Lapdog. Send it to Tony Khan at Tony Khan on your comment. That's the story for Camille.
Okay, so let me ask this, and that's the story. I love it, and I'm not trying to be contrarian with you, Lapdog, but having Camille lose to Willow is really going to help the story with Camille and Mercedes, because Willow's not losing that title. I don't think Willow's losing that title.
No, the only person I realistically see her do it to is Megan Bayne. If she does,
and let's say Camille's your TBS champion, So Mercedes is going to come back to win that title again. To me, Mercedes had to take a step up in the women's division right now in the world title picture with Tekla. She's been there and done that with that TBS title.
Right. Yeah, she's winning the Owen. I got Mercedes winning the Owen. Even I'm surprised we didn't see her on the show, to be honest.
I thought too. I got a little bit of a thing at the end of the show about speculation reporting. Oh, Chris, you got to give me a few minutes.
I
want to finish this show.
No problem. Hell yeah, dude. You remind me.
You won't need to be right. It's all day festering.
All right, cool. But yes, we'll see Camille again. I'm not opposed to Camille. Lapdog, yeah. This would be Camille and Mercedes in the Owen. They did a good job with. They did a good job. They did a good job with Hangman and Ospreay last year. We watched it backstage they did a good job of building for their Owen championship match. I enjoyed it. Yes, Lapdog. I like that. I like that idea. Mercedes is going to challenge for the AEW Women's World Title. She's not going after the TB. Right. Yes. She didn't elevate it. That you could question, but I agree with your comment there. But Lapdog, I really like your idea. Hopefully, Kev, we see more Camille. Hopefully she has a good showing on Dynamite this week against Willow. Willow, in my opinion, she's been okay the last few weeks. I think she did make Persephone. She had a stood out match with Persephone. I think Willow's kind of the girl in that solid mid-card division to, like a Camille, Persephone. If you want to see somebody on TBS, maybe not compete or go against your top girls, but if I think Willow's been that person. I think, they're going to have a good match.
And I'm glad you mentioned Persephone. Persephone could have even answered that open challenge on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't watch CMLL, so I don't.
Neither do I. But she's
I don't
good.
know if
I've seen her highlights. From her highlights, I'm a big. I've said it time again. I'm a big fan. I don't
know if she has anything going on down there that's holding her back from.
Es verdad. That's true. Because that is in Vancouver, all the way to fly up there.
Right. And I think I could just assume that maybe her dual contract is more like CMLL's her top priority before AEW. I would just see it, but
they gave that on TV. So I'm sorry, I don't remember.
They gave it on TV. It was it was a few weeks ago. I did the review on it.
Okay, I didn't remember. I saw.
They did the review. Yeah, they did that. They had a Persephone go backstage with the vignette. Willow was there. She challenged her to a match.
I remember when she said, "If you don't know, she was heel or babyface from Persephone."
Yes, there we go. Yep.
Now you recall my memory.
Persephone. Okay, she's the CMLL Women's Champion. Okay. Yeah.
But again, you have Athena. You could have done Athena. You could have Athena, and then you would have had something different because you had it with Mercedes and Athena. You could add another
match.
Yeah, you could add another match with Willow and Athena. Would have been a nice something different. But teasing for Wednesday if that was the case. Again, Athena. What's the point of her holding that Ring of Honor title for so long? Where really it's just she don't feel special. Make her feel special. Make her come up and win that title. And he's not afraid of giving the ladies 2 belts.
See, I didn't, Lapdog, I didn't see your first comment about this. I'm unaware of the heat that she has in the AEW locker room. I didn't hear anything about that. I will try to search that up and research what I can. Maybe you could tell me briefly here in the chat because I don't know really what the heat is with her. Persephone dethroned for a month ago. Okay, damn. I didn't realize that. Okay, but yeah, so we'll see with Camille. But I talk about a match that I liked. A little bit questionable, but again, they're building up to Okada and Takeshita, I think, at Wembley. That was the Don Callis family, Okada and Takeshita versus Bucks and the Bucks. Nick and Matt Jackson. I thought it was a good match between these guys. There was a lot of near falls, which to a degree could be annoying, especially if it's a lot of the same repeated moves. I was going to say repetitive. That wouldn't have made sense. Same repeated moves the whole time. And there were serious moments. I felt like, they did a comedy bit, especially with Okada and Takeshita, where I'm like, yo, stop the comedy. I don't need that right now. That's my only real complaint. I think the story in this match was really the finish. to build up to Kechna and Okada at Wembley. But I didn't think it was a bad match, and the Bucks win. Now we'll see what they go forward if they challenge again for the AEW Tag Team Championship, which I don't want to see, but I thought it was a fine match, and we'll see what Okada and Takeshita gets built up later on. What do you think about the match, and what do you think the ending, the controversial ending?
Look, it was a high octane opener when everything the Young Bucks in the match. I am not a Bucks fan, but I gotta respect them so much because they're one of the last remaining tag teams all across professional wrestling. Whether the Bucks, FTR, that does for tag team. That if you separate them, no one in the world wants to see Nick Jackson or the other one wrestle solo. They're a tag team. They're a package deal. The only thing, the good match. You know what? I did like the levity, the comedy with Okada, put it on the Bucks gear, doing the pose, doing all this stuff.
He came in, he's like, tag me in.
Yeah, I like that. I said, hello, our truth call.
Maybe because
I like it. It was fun. It was fun. It was different.
You know what? Because this is Okada's thing, and I you know what? I'm not gonna say I enjoyed it because in the moment I thought it was kind of weird, but for Okada, and now because I have on my notes, I like when I take my notes, I like to have like at least one picture next to my notes, and I have the picture of him with the Bucks uniform on.
Yeah, that is cool.
So ironically, yeah, no.
But the one thing I had an issue, Chris, the one thing I really had an issue, and I hated it, because you invested us. This is why I told you why tag team wrestling is dying across the industry. It's the building of that damn hot tag, right? So every wrestling match has that. You got your workhorse to the hot tag, and the crowd's supposed to go bananas, which they did that. Bucks did a great job, but then after that, it became tornado rules. Rick Knox was the most useless referee there is. You know what I mean? Okada Omega rest to him saying, "Hey, get out of the ring, start the 5 count, and get out of the ring." Nothing. Then actually, I said, "So why did you go give us 10 minutes of faking or teasing us for this Nick Jackson hot tag, or to just bastardize it after that, where Okada Omega just felt like they were in the ring all the time without any illegal tags, back and double teaming and all that, which it was a great setup and sequence for the whole match. But if you want to talk about rules in the match and the psychology of the matches, Rick Knox is an idiot. And by the way, I gotta give something that I noticed from AEW. They're bringing in other newer referees, which I like to see. Hopefully, they start cycling out of some of these terrible garbage referees like Ray Bransberg and
Aubrey Edwards. Get the
Aubrey Edwards, Rick Knox, and Paul Turner's on the cusp. I like Paul Turner a little bit, but when you're starting to know the referees like that because how terrible they are, there's an issue. You're not supposed to remember the referee's real name or their names. Jessica Carr, because she's being put in this angle, and that's it. Because I don't even know the lipstick. The referee that wears all the makeup.
Or Boricua Eddie Arango.
Eddie Arango,
that I know by name.
But it's not always for something
right.
negative. It's Audrey. You could talk about her and her, and different things. Yeah, it's just different. It's just something wrong that I have a problem with. We don't pay to go see the referees galloping on a horse like a horse in the middle of the ring. We want to see the referees to raise the hand of the official, the runner, ring up the title, raise the title up, and count the 3. That's all. That's all I got to say. The match was a great match, 19 minutes. It could have been 5 minutes shorter, but who cares? It was, you know what? I like the story that implicated afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Did a good job with that, the finish.
Because Kashner says, have at it, pin him. I don't give a shit about him. And then Don Callis' family's crumbling. When they tell you they're all pro wrestling and no storylines, they gave you some storylines. But then why should the referees have more characters than the wrestlers? When wrestling is about characters, you want the referees to have characters. Why? They shouldn't be the characters. They shouldn't be people. You shouldn't be invested in their characters of a referee. It should be the wrestlers that you got to invest in their characters, not the officials.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree 100% because even in pro wrestling history, I'll use
Danny Davis.
Even Charles Robinson's over because of the run at WrestleMania 20 or 28. You were there. Let's be honest. In Orlando. That's the only reason why people give a shit about Charles Robinson. Not that he's not one of the greatest referees of all time. He is. But if you're talking about why people think he's a character, is because of that.
He did try that baby Nate stuff in WCW though. You got to.
Oh, you did, yeah.
You gotta check that out. No,
I did.
Yeah, that was a bad comparison. That one.
My bad. I forgot about that, dude. I forgot. I'm a little younger, so when all the stuff I remember from WCW, it's only the big moments that I really remember. Going back
he was. That's why there's a reason why I call him Baby Nate. He actually was trying.
Okay. I see. I mean, you could fucking look at him and argue. That he even said it too. That's his idol. So I mean, he's been cosplaying that guy his whole fucking career.
That's why Charlotte calls him Uncle.
Oh my God. One thing I do want to talk about. I'm shocked, and that was Ricochet versus Jericho. You know what my only problem was? It wasn't that Jericho won the match or lost the match, but I don't. You can't have Ricochet do a shooting star press and have Jericho do a reverse it into a code breaker and then a counter kick out at 2. That if you had Jericho win the match, I'll get to why I don't mind Ricochet winning in a second. But if you had Jericho winning the match from that shooting star press from the code breaker, the crowd was alive at that time. Imagine the pop that when he 1, 2, 3 from that spot. I thought that should have been the finish. But the reason why I'll tell you Ricochet winning's not bad. One, this makes Ricochet look legit. You had Jericho who all this hype was on Jericho. All this talk was on Jericho. Is he showing up during the Stranger Things Monday Night Raw? Is he showing up at the Rumble? When's he showing up back in AEW? His first match, Ricochet. And Ricochet beats him with a lion salt. I mean, I'm going to say this. They have to push Ricochet now in some sort of way, because you cannot have him go out there I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good match for, I was surprised Jericho, for being, I think he's 55 or 54, somewhere around that. He kept up with Ricochet, I think, pretty well. I think Ricochet, obviously being one of those guys, when you're in the ring, you adjust to your veteran, I think Ricochet also did a good job on that part. Too bad that his actions online, calls him a little bit, in the fans' perspective, because this was what he was supposed to do. He made Jericho look good. He went over, and I don't care. If he's this heel, let's just say, he's a heel despite all the bullshit he says on social media. He's a heel. Cool. This is good for him. Now let's see what they can do with Ricochet here on out. But I thought it was a good match. Jericho looked good. Ricochet beating Jericho with the lying salt was a nice touch because of his heel persona.
To me, this was the match of the night. My favorite. I
wouldn't argue that.
I really enjoyed it. I couldn't care less about the outcome because it would not hurt. Jericho was the first ever AEW champion. To see him in the ring, 14 minutes. I thought it was going to go like 10 minutes. To me, I really enjoyed it. Actually, my wife enjoyed this match. She sat down. She doesn't like AEW.
Your wife?
She doesn't care. She likes Jericho. She was hoping he would go back.
She does not like AEW.
No. She enjoyed Jericho. She still says at the end of the match and all that with Ricochet, he should have went to WWE. I said this to her. I said, you know what? Because we both remember watching the Jericho run when he came in WCW, and then to ECW, all that. We've seen his career, and we've said, you know what, Ricochet, and this is a wow. This is going to be hot take. Ricochet was Chris Jericho when Jericho was younger, without the verbal talking, without the way and the charisma, in a way, the wrestling moves and the wrestling innovation. That was Chris Jericho from Lion's Heart, and all the reinvention. Now it's up to Jericho. It's up to Ricochet. Would never be Jericho's shoes. Maybe one of his boots, but that was how Jericho came up. It reminded me of the way Ricochet wrestles and Jericho paved the way, and I kind of saw the past versus the present of when in that match. If it makes sense, if you've seen Jericho from his history, from his WCW days and all that, it kind of remind me a little bit of there. Big fan of Jericho. Like Haas says, he's a Jerichoholic. So am I here. If he's AEW, that's one of the reasons why. Look, I've told you this many times. I've got 2 bottles of Lee Champagne in my kitchen that I have not opened. It's there as a collector's item. hopefully one day I get to see Jericho passing by here in Tampa a couple hours, and just hopefully he signs the bottle of champagne, one for my son. That bought it for them. Lee Champagne. I've got it. I actually purchased it. I actually bought like 6 of them. We drank 4 and we kept 2.
Nice.
Not bad. That's how much of a Jericho fan we are. I was almost banned from Disney World because I had "Don't Be an Ass Clown" shirt, and I wanted to take a picture with Mickey Mouse, and Mickey Mouse didn't want to take a picture because he's like, no, your shirt. It was a WWE licensed shirt. It said "Don't Be an Ass Clown." If you remember that from that Jericho. So long story short, I enjoyed the match here with Chris Jericho. One thing I got to say, I got to give a little bit of a heat or negative. The production. The production, again, they keep, maybe because we're watching, and we say that about WWE, because I hate to say, about the other company, when the referees call out the spots in the spot, there's a spot where the story of the match they were working on Jericho's arm. So he's telling them, and he's doing this, he's showing them he's calling up Tony Leola to come and pull on the arm. And you see him calling him to pull. I thought, my wife goes, are they going to join? They're going to turn on Ricochet? No, he got caught on camera telling him to come and do calling the next move to pull his arm. Yeah. I was like, that's, it's a nitpick, but to me, fun match. Now it's up to Ricochet to take it to the next level. I know Tony Khan on the media scrum was asked about the incident on Ricochet online with the bad tweet publicity. Said there's a strict social media policy in place, but when they asked the follow-up question about enforcing it, repercussions, penalties, he tippy-toed and he moved on to the next thing. He deep-throat the water bottle like he does, and he moved on.
I see. I didn't listen to the media scrum, so maybe I'll check that out. But yeah, no, I would agree with this comment too. It's, I don't even. It's not about pushing the younger talent. But again, Ricochet's somebody that I think could use it.
I wasn't upset with it.
I'm not upset with it either. No. It was a good match. Ricochet's a great wrestler. I don't think anybody has ever argued Ricochet's. He's just boring on the mic, and he can make an event and make an ass of himself.
Yeah, he could get down to a low life level. Let me ask this question: the first 2 matches of the card were for a company that is pro wrestling. That was very sports entertaining. From the Okada
and
the Jericho match, very sports entertaining.
You can even say that with the next match that not too much because we did see some blood, but you could even say that a little bit with our next match with the AEW Tag Team Championships here with FTR versus Cope and Cage. And I think the reason why I would say that's because Stokely's presence, he is that kind of comedy guy.
Yeah.
He's good for the comedy spots. But this was their first match since September 2005. I believe it was All Out in Toronto, where they beat FTR, I believe. But they had another match here. It was a good match. FTR wins. We saw blood. I thought the title change was going to happen.
I think we all did.
Obviously, they're in Canada. Like Aaron says in the chat, not that they're getting their retirement run per se right now, but I do feel like a win at home in Canada for them was definitely coming for the tag team championships this time. But FTR retaining, it's fine to me. They're still great. They're still, they are the most legit best tag team in the company, in my opinion. Cage was taken out by I think it was Cash Wheeler on the floor, and that left like Adam Copeland all alone, and he put up a great fight. But again, it makes sense because when he's bloody in the ring like that, and Christian Cage is out of the ring, they're gonna hit that 3D. There's nothing you could do with that 2-on-1 advantage. I didn't mind the way FTR won it either. It was 20 minutes. I'm surprised this shit did not go 30, 35. I could see Christian and Cage, dude. See the Copeland, the Cage, the Christian. I'm Chris. There's too many damn C's. But Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, I can see them getting their titles against FTR some point down the year, maybe Double or Nothing, maybe London. But I thought it was a good match. Yeah,
I was shocked. I was shocked that they didn't put the titles on Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. I was very surprised. So like, oh wow, FTR hanged on. I think somewhere along the line, I think Stokely might have made a bit of an error. He was a little bit late to breaking the pin, and I think there was a spot there where I think Stokely. I don't know if he went a little too much liberties or so, of course, because Adam Copeland started. Wait, how did he get busted on his head? Because
I think I think it was a shot. It was like something with Cash Wheeler. I think he got Christian. I didn't even realize he was bleeding until I looked him in, like when he was in the middle of the ring, like down. I didn't even know he was bleeding. I don't even remember, to be honest. I didn't know the blood was there until the camera shot pointed at it.
Yeah. And then it felt like, oh, wait a minute, like something, I thought they were gonna. I thought it was that might have been a legitimate in-ring live round injury, because even the commentary got a little bit, you could hear it in their tone of their inflection across the broadcast, like, wait, this is not normal, Adam might be really some injury and so forth, but then they went, through there and it kept going. But I can't trust Stock Sampson because he clears everybody. You got a pulse, you're good to go. That's the worst stuff. I wouldn't go to him to treat me, not even with a freaking splinter, because that's the worst fucking doctor in the world. But
he give you an ice pack and say you're good.
Yeah,
Dr. Simpson is like the school nurse. You could be having a heart attack, and the school nurse. You want an ice pack for that, honey?
Yeah, an ice pack. Yeah. No, have a seat. Sit down.
You can't go home. You got to stay here. Do you need an ice pack?
Yeah, here's an ice pack. Yeah. Yeah, that's Doc Sampson.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's Doc Sampson.
I do think though, when the AEW Tag Team Championships, later on down the year. My question is for Kev, everybody in the chat, who the hell do we see? What do we see at Double or Nothing for the tag team titles?
That's where they're gonna have that.
That's where they're gonna have the ladder match.
The triple threat, yeah, in New York City. Yeah. Okay. Well, why not? You stick it to.
I agree. I agree.
You stick it to the Sanford Company in New York when you have that match there. It's everything, and that's the only issue. Sometimes I wish they wouldn't do, but whatever. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. The Casino Gauntlet match. Tommaso Ciampa and Rush started. I know Haas has probably been waiting to talk about this because we did share a DM with Kevin Knight, because we talked about it on Wednesday. Like, dude, why are we even talking about this? Tommaso Ciampa. And I was like, yo, what? Like, whatever. But Tommaso Ciampa and Rush started the match. Bandito was the third man in. Speedball Bailey in front of his home country. El Clone, Kev. El Clone, who I thought was hologram when he came out. I seriously thought that was hologram. I was like, hologram got a new look. Hologram got jacked. And then they did the graphic. I was like, that's right. El Clone does wear a hologram mask. What the hell? Come on. You know how many freaking luchadors there are in the world? Everyone has a different mask. Just saying. Pac was the sixth man in the match. Daniel Garcia came in at number seven. 8th was Anthony Bowens. 9 was Kevin Knight, and 10 was Wheeler Yuta. And your new TNT champions, Kevin Knight. I thought the match was good. It was a good match. Good gauntlet match. You could question the contenders, but I think the contenders in this scenario fit the TNT title. I would have, my wild card was Speedball Bailey. I know that was Haas's as well. I could have seen Speedball, which, I'm surprised Kevin Knight got the win, because it was a good match. The win, he got the UFO splash after saving his buddy Mike Bailey, and then he hits the move. Majority in the ring, majority of the match, which I liked, it was 2 people in the ring. You didn't see like the whole, in some of these gauntlet matches, when they do a lot of the multi-man matches in the ring, tornado matches, you see a lot of outside shenanigans. You'll see people outside fighting each other. You really saw a lot of the in-ring with 2 men, and I like that about the match. 2 questions. Was Kevin Knight winning the TNT championship a good move? And what do you think about him winning it over Mike Bailey? Because Mike Bailey has had incredible matches against on Dynamite, had a great match with Okada and the Owen last year, had a banger match with Fletcher, who the whole reason they're having this match because he's hurt and he had to vacate, which, can we give Tony Khan for not doing an interim TNT champion?
Yeah. That would have been the easy way out.
What do you think about the result?
That would have been the easy way out. I like Kevin Knight winning because If you look at the end of the match when Kevin Knight gets the hand raised by the referee, the look of like this mother effer when from Mike Speedball, Barefoot Bailey, like Haas likes to call him, and looking at him. Because guess what? There's a story coming out of this. The way just that look for Mike Speedball Bailey looks like he's going to lead for him turning heel.
Right. And
It's all set up, and you're building a story after that match. Because everybody, they were 6-man tag. Who lost the 6-man tag? The trios tag? Kevin Knight got pinned and lost it.
Exactly.
He got an opportunity against MJF as world title in the world title that we were like, why? And then he didn't. He was a double, or was it Hangman, or was it MJF that he lost that twice in that night? Whatever the case.
Yeah, they competed later on against the Goncalves family for the trios titles, and that's when MJF came out there, did the thing with Hangman. And
yeah. All right, so he lost twice on the night.
Speedball Bailey had a championship match right at almost immediately after Revolution because they were in Canada.
Right, so Speedball could play into Kevin Knight getting the opportunities where he's not, and he's going to turn heel, and I'm for it because Kevin Knight and the Jet Kevin Knight the Jet versus Speedball Mike Bailey, it's going to feed families. That's going to be a fun match. Hopefully, they keep it on a pay-per-view. Don't try to rush and cram it in on a regular Wednesday. Have people pay your $39.99 to watch those two go. Tease it, build a story, the animosity. Don't do the heel turn right away, but where there's a little bit of a disconnect where, you haven't answered my calls. Just build. You got a couple weeks. Build it. I know they got spring break-in coming up and so forth. Don't try to give everything right away. Don't right away pull your pants down. Work some foreplay to the wrestling audience. Put a little foreplay. It's there. I think people are invested. Go in it slowly, nice and easy. Don't make her pull her panties up right away. Nice and easy. Don't be the jackass. Play it nice and smooth. But I don't know. I'm invested. Kevin Knight was the right answer. I would have liked to Ciampa with Sylvie, but it is what it is. Maybe Ciampa and Jungle Perry makes a nice match. Something never seen, something fresh, something new. Maybe that, it's time to get that title, make it real, feel like something important. It's a joke right now. It's on the pre-show.
Yeah, no, I agree. If Kevin Knight joins the Hurt Syndicate or joins up with Swerve, I might cry tears of joy. Okay, so as like, the Hurt Syndicate? I guess some people in the chat would like to see him in the Hurt Syndicate. When I was gonna say this with Lapdog's comment, I would have liked this to be reversed. I think Kevin Knight would work better as a heel.
I kind of want to see Speedball.
So do I. You know what? I'm curious to see Speedball as a heel.
Too many heels already. You got a whole faction in Don Callis family that's like 15 heels. I know some of them are flip-flopping.
And you had the Death Riders. Fair.
Yeah, I like Kevin Knight. People are behind him. Make him a babyface.
No, I like Kevin Knight winning too. He's a good wrestler. I would like to see a little more now that he is a singles champion. I would like to see not a little more personality. I think I kind of got the idea of what he's about, but I would like to see him in open mic. I think that helps a lot of people. I think that can.
I want to address this about the Roosh. I got to give shout out to Roosh. He was number 2. He came out to no crickets, but then by the middle of the match with his movesets, the crowd was chanting for him. I got to give, he won the crowd over with his in-ring, his performance. If you wanted Roosh to win a TNT title, it would have not been a bad deal either. Nope. But I got to give him his flowers and his credit that he did win that crowd over. So they were chanting Roosh, Roosh, Roosh. And by the way, it's Rush. No mami way.
Well, I guess the U is pronounced differently or something. Roosh.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Kevin.
Aye, guys. We're coming down here in the last few matches. I appreciate you guys again joining me and Kev here on a Monday afternoon.
No, Kevin.
Dios
mío, Rush. It's fucking Rush. Come on.
I appreciate you guys in the chat. I appreciate Kev joining me. We're almost winding down here, getting ready for Monday Night Raw tonight. Speaking of a match coming down here, winding down here on the top of the 9th, that nobody gave a shit about. Tekla, Kev. Tekla versus Jamie Hayter. Long match. The finish was flat. The crowd didn't care. Should not have been, what was it? 15 minutes?
17 minutes.
17
I got the things here for the time of the show.
17 minutes. There were parts of the match where the fans were completely quiet. Tekla winning was obvious. I like Jamie Hayter, but they didn't really do much to set this feud going into the match. She has no chance of winning. We know Tekla's going to have a long reign. She's probably going to be there when Mercedes gets back. She's probably going to be the champion when Mercedes wins the Owen, and we're probably going to get those two. Mercedes is probably going to, and I know I'm jumping ahead, Double or Nothing. They're not going to do this at Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing, from what I recall, last year we had the finals of the Owen. I don't know if we're going to have that again this year, but my point is they're going to save this match for Wembley. I think if you remember the first ever Wembley, that was the first time Mercedes was ever shown on AEW television when she was a free agent with New Japan or Stardom, whatever the hell she was at. So they're saving that for this match. I felt bad for these ladies because, man, that crowd was silent. It was too long. They're fatigued. They're ready for that. You gave us Moxley and Ospreay after this, which we covered. Kev, what would you think about this? What do you think about Tekla? And what are you feeling with this AEW women's division right now?
The match should have been 10 minutes, 12. 5 minutes short, no problem. Here I had an issue though. I have a little bit of an issue. Sheamus called me. Pete Dunne called me. Rich Holland called me. Said they want their gimmick back. When they started off with the bar scene in the back. What is it? Every people from the UK are a bunch of bar drinking drunks. But she drinks 8 or drinks a beer, goes out, which is different. My point: if Tekla has an issue that she has an alcohol issue where there've been reports that she was drunk many times and so forth, why would you have the girl drink a beer then if we're against her opponent? I'm like, really? Is that a rib? Did you find that a rib, or you just noticed that now that I'm telling you this?
I kind of just noticed not that I'm telling you that, because my whole thing last night watching it was she's a British girl who's ready to kick ass. And
so then all the British girls are drunk?
Well, like we talked about, Tekla's from Austria. So
no, but talk about
Jamie
Hayter was drinking. She ghost out that beer where Windows in the bar in the back. Like,
well, I did see that, but I'm really taking notice of that.
But I got to give them credit. They want to make characters. So I say, they want to give her a little bit of a character.
I thought Tekla's presentation was good.
Oh yeah, Tekla's presentation is good. She looks loony. She looks drunk all the time. That's a gimmick. The match was fine. She wanted to win. The crowd was flat for the women's match since Full Gear. Hopefully the fans, TK doesn't care, so they don't. But I hope they don't think of that match and say, I got to get this title off of Tekla. No. Build the storyline. The thing is, to me, I think they're going to repeat this match because the referee didn't see the leg on the rope.
And then Alex Windsor told the referee, yeah.
And I was like, are they ever going to restart this match now? Please don't.
I hope not. The best bet is to let Tekla do what she's doing. Let Sky Blue and Julia Hart handle this. Let Sky Blue and Julia Hart go against Alex Windsor and the Brawling Brutes. The Brawling Brutes are winning those AEW tag team titles at Wembley. They're going to get their hometown moment. That's not a secret. But you could have a feud. We still have a pay-per-view before Wembley. Wembley's a long time away. But if you hear me say that, it's because it's not too early to start thinking about a lot of these shows are going to be built up for that. So
here's the thing, Chris. There's 3 women in the Triangle Magnus and 2 with the Brawling Birds. They need another female, and that female should go after.
Just needs to go away. They can easily just.
But they need someone. But I was going to say this: they need someone. If we all know Hayter and Winsler are going to go for those tag titles, they need a third person that will challenge Tekla, Chris, for the Women's World Champion. Please. Maybe she needs to do a TV show on Prime. Bring back Dr. Britt Baker. There is history with Hayter and Baker. Bring Dr. Baker, part of the show, part of the 3 ladies, along with the Brawling Birds. And there you got it.
That will definitely fire up that women's division.
You could
100%.
even you could even do they want to do a trios. Have a trios. Or I know Saraya is not coming back. She's not going back. That would have been the better person, but she's not here, so forget about her. Okay, that's gone. But Dr. Big Baker, bring her back. Put her there. It makes sense. There's history with Hater and Big Breaker. And you could against Tekla or the Triangle of Madness, and you got it. You got her back. The fans will be so happy to see Big Baker back on television. And then, first they could go in trios. If she needs warm up matches, like we like to say earlier, without, she's going to probably need them, like we were talking about. And you let that build. And then if Double or Nothing, or even then she could take on Tekla for the women's championship later in a couple months. But right now you could get her working in a trios matchup. I kind of like it, but they won't do it. They won't do it, Chris.
No, they won't do it. I don't even know if we're really that close to seeing Britt Baker like a lot of people think we are.
No, she's never coming back to the company.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe that now.
She's never coming back. But that would have been a nice opportunity to an olive branch. Come on back. We got this. We got a program for you here. Tekla, you women's champion. You don't have to run right away. Hey, Camille came out of nowhere and getting a TBS title. Would you get upset if Britt Baker challenges for the women's champion out of nowhere? Ashira came out of nowhere and had a title. So
you know what? I will put some respect on Akira Shida's name because she is the first ever AEW Women's Champion.
Exactly, and the first signing of AEW period was Dr. Big Breaker.
Right. So, yeah, we'll see. I hope that happens. I hope she comes back. I don't see it happening at all.
And you're probably right, Haas. They probably put Mina Melons in part of the 6 women.
Yeah, they'll probably redo that. Have that.
Yeah. She could drink champagne. She could drink champagne while they drink beer.
Yeah, I agree. Kev, there's only one more match to really get into, and you know what,
baby,
I can't believe I really saved this fucking match for.
No, it's a good thing you saved it for last, and I'll tell you off.
First off, I'm Kyle O'Reilly, and I'm happy for him. He got a moment. I know he recently dealt with a family loss. So seeing, he was emotional in there with his best friend Roddy and his country. I'm not mad at that. In pro wrestling, I think that's a beautiful thing. I'm not. This is what I'm about to say is no disrespect to Kyle O'Reilly at all. I just want to make that perfectly clear. They did a trios tag team match in the co-main event of this show. Nobody cared. And I'm talking about not just in the arena. You and the people in the chat I cannot tell you how many guys, what are we doing? Why is this match happening? The War Dogs just won their match on Collision. They didn't even get a chance to go on an episode of anything and show it off.
They didn't even put side plates.
But no, Kev, it's not like they won it on Collision. They won it the day earlier. What? We knew it was going to be Kyle O'Reilly. You didn't have to give us a mystery angle. You didn't have to do all that. Orange Cassidy sitting on there. If you go on my Twitter, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about because that's the one time I'm going to screenshot a show and actually post it. That was ridiculous. I never wanted the show to go off so fast. I almost wanted to turn it off. It was fine. I've seen Roddy and Orange Cassidy with the involvement of Darby Allin, which is why Darby Allin feels flat now as a singles competitor because he was involved with this feud. And now they have Kyle O'Reilly in there. They win it. Now Orange Cassidy and those two, they're the trios tag team champions. I don't know. I don't care. The trios division is useless. That's all they seem to care about in AEW. Why? Tell me why this match needed to happen. Tell me why this match needed to go on right before the main event.
If you don't, and that's two pay-per-views in a row that they put that same match at that same spot, co-main event time.
Wow, thank you for pointing that out. Because why? Kev, we talked about Revolution and being too long because that's the only pay-per-view they've done this year. I truly believe, even though it was still long, you cut this match out and you give us the main event after the Osprey match. No problem. I don't think, what do you want us? Oh, we need to get the crowd bored for them to get back up on their feet. Just give us 2 exciting matches in a row and call it a day.
Yeah, that trios match didn't need to be there before the tag team, even before the tag team match. You know, it's, you know, to me, it's like Tony Khan says, when do you want to, I'm going to, you know, Orange Cassidy says, I want to go right before the main event. Tony Khan goes, whatever. That's what it feels like. It's like, you know, but look, I want to say this. It's a little bit, there you go.
Sorry, I just wanted to put that up before you go.
No, I like it. I like it. First and foremost, the Sports Jedi Network, when we say predictions and spoilers and we say certain things, we say it speculating and we say things here on our channel. I speculated that Kyle O'Reilly was going to come out, was going to be the mystery, right? I don't think you need a degree of science. I don't have to grease any insiders or anybody in the professional wrestling business.
You don't need a .net to know that.
Okay? Also say, you know what? It's logic. He's been out. He did some media runs, so forth. Mercedes Moné should be coming back to the company. She's still under contract. She's ready to come back. She lost her titles. Logic. For me to post something and then I get grilled. Go, tell who's your sources. Well, you should give credit to your sources. The source was me. I'm the source. I'm the one. Maybe I didn't write it. I had it and I did it today. The speculated and John Cena might come out and do some damage control about being the host. I'm speculating it because when we're not here to I don't give a shit who puts it out first because it seems like everybody in the IWC, so in the media, wants to be the first person to put it out. I said it first. Like you're gonna get a fucking participation trophy. Dude, the fact that I get grilled pisses me off. And this is not the first time. We were the only fan-made, fan-powered podcast recap to have TNA president, Anthem's president, Carlos Silva on to do any interviews with anybody. We were the first ones back in June. He sold us a lot of different things that no one knew from our channel. We didn't get no fucking credit. No one said the Sports Jedi. He said this on the Sports Jedi Network. No one gave us credit. Did you hear me?
One person did.
Yeah, refresh my memory because I don't remember who.
It wasn't for Silva, but it was Gerald.
Well, for Carlos Silva, when he told us about
Carlos Silva, it was for
no. I'm talking about
Carlos Silva.
No, that's later down the road.
Okay,
that's later down the road.
We got Carlos Silva. People were really. I'm gonna be honest, Kev. It was because they were jealous they didn't get him.
And I got questioned. Well, how the hell you got Carlos Silva on? And why'd you ask him these questions? And did he say? And you know what? With the questions I asked Carlos Silva, he answered them, and he gave you the answers that you wanted to hear. But we didn't get credit. And that interview was early in the afternoon on that June day, and I believe it was June or late July or early July. It was July. It was early July. We had Carlos Silva on first, one of the first ones. And we went live with that. We didn't record it like we've been doing and airing it after we interviewed Carlos Silva. We actually did it live with him on the air on our channel, on the Sports Jedi Network. No one gave us any credit, talking about his gold. He even told us how much he loved Dallas and how much Dallas was a big place for him in his heart to see the fans out there in the cold and the rain. And when he first came aboard from the as president. And what they do, he announced the first AMC show for TNA in Dallas. No one gave us any credit. No one said, you know what? As told and on the Sports Jedi Network, Carlos
July 10th, 2025.
Okay, no one gave us credit, and we're not there asking. And we're no, where's my credit? I said, report your sources. No, Carlos Silva, and there's many. Frankie Kazarian told me on my channel that he wanted a match with AJ Styles, but there's a few people that has to sign off on it. And back in August, no one gave our channel any credit or anything. Now everybody ran with the story like they fucking had the insights. When Frankie Kazarian told me in an interview okay, when we interviewed, that he was one. But no one says per Sports Jedi Network sources. But when I speculate and I make a prediction, I gotta give credit when it's coming from me. Where did you hear this? Your stuff is behind a paywall, and I would never pay for your stuff because I can't afford it, and I don't want to give you my money. So if we're here, we wanted to look. We're not here for dirt sheets. We couldn't give a shit who's sleeping with who's what. We're here for recaps, reviews, and interviews, and watch-alongs.
Yep.
That's our motto. That's our stake. We want to view everyone from the wrestling business, from all wrestling walk of life, from the independent scene to the main roster on AEW to Ring of Honor to NWA or TNA, WWE. That's what we want. We want to have that interview, that conversation. I want my audience to know the wrestlers, not who they're dating, or any gossip. I just want to know, to tell their story, how they fell in love with the art of professional wrestling. That's it. If you speculate, sometimes you don't need to have sources. It's logic, predictability. You could see it coming. It's there. It's dictating. You don't need to have insights, and you don't need to be greasing someone's palm behind the scenes, stooging shit. That's my thing, and that really bothered me because I'm not here to make enemies on X or getting into Twitter beefs. I am too old for this shit. I'm here to talk about professional wrestling, to enjoy the art of professional wrestling, and to get to people to know in my platform the wrestlers via interviews, to put over every wrestler, to know how they fell in love with this beautiful art that we're all fighting for, and we're throwing slings and arrows on everyone behind the scenes. I don't give a shit. I want them to know what make these people motivate them and want to make generational changing money. That's my statement.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel the same way when people keep calling me an AEW hater, just because I don't,
It bothered me, Chris.
It bothers me. I mean, it bothers me too, because it bothers me for you a lot, because again, I'm tired of people not giving us the respect we deserve.
No,
I mean, we're the only fan-made podcast that gets these TNA talents and that gets all these high-profile independent wrestlers. They want to copy and paste when our views are we get literally thousands of more views. Our Silva interview is in the thousands with an S. Yes, plural. I don't show us some respect, and I'm not here, at least, trying to brag or anything like that, but I understand where Kev's coming from, because it is very frustrating. I mean, he's been doing this on this channel for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's just, we made a lot of moves last year, especially with TNA stuff, and people just they love giving, they love either being jealous or they love just talking, which it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's every time. It's every time during these pay-per-views that something happens. I get called an hater as well when I'm here. I spent the money, whatever. I tweeted about that, my rant yesterday, so you guys can go see that. But yes, that was AEW Dynasty from last night. My final thoughts here, and I'll give you the floor if you have anything else you want to add, something I might have forgotten, anything else that comes to your head, take it away. But I thought it was a fine show. It was full of good matches, which we know that's AEW specialty, especially with these pay-per-views. In terms of storyline and big moments, there wasn't a lot of that. I think we did get a lot of those going into Revolution, and it wasn't even that far away, behind. We just got done with that. Most of the matches were clean, couple cheap wins by the heel finishes, like MJF, Tekla, Jericho got a win over, Ricochet got a big win over Jericho. Like all the tag team matches, not the trios, all the tag team matches were good. Both of them, I should say, really, both tag team matches were good. The certain move sets with the Ospreay and Moxley match just didn't need to be there. I thought it was not a better show than Revolution, of course. Little long, it wasn't longer than Revolution. Again, you cut out that co-main event. I think this flows better. I think this isn't too much of a problem, but it did end well past midnight, and it's just it's not when you get the pay-per-views that long, it's for some people, before the chat goes crazy, it could not be a good watching experience. Don't care if it is for you. That's good. Congratulations. Sorry, I'm speaking about the general public. What I've seen is that this could be, not the funnest experience, especially when you have to go to work on a Monday morning. If NFL season was here and they were doing their pay-per-views on Saturdays, the length would still be a problem. But hell, I might even be here doing the post shows after. I could work around it. I think we could work around that. But not bad. Getting ready for Double or Nothing. Don't make the mistake Wednesday night with Darby Allin winning.
Okay. Hey, look, AEW puts on what's always considered a good pay-per-view. People got their money's worth, so forth. But here's the issue coming out of it. Your follow-up. Something that they always fail to do. Colossal fail is the follow-ups of the pay-per-view. You got to make the people that didn't spend the $39.99 to buy the pay-per-view fear of missing out. But when you go and give those lackluster dynamites after your pay-per-view, either by injuries or people are sore, they're not medically cleared, it kind of hurts your TV program. Because then people say, I'm glad I didn't spend my $39.99 to purchase it because look at the crap they gave me. Yeah, I can imagine how bad the pay-per-view. I'm not saying is that, but perception is reality. People who didn't see, they're going to crap what they don't know. So they need to follow up their pay-per-views with some strong shows and maybe, scale back maybe a match or two and do a little storytelling there. We talked about Britt Baker returning, yada, yada, all that stuff on our review. They need to continue that if they want to continue to grow their momentum. Because if they're going to continue to grow on their momentum and be able to get you to want to buy the next pay-per-view, you have to put it on your go-home show or your fallout show immediately after your pay-per-view. So hopefully, because then it's going to go back to same old AEW. Back to the same thing again, and the feeling is restored. Bad fallout shows after a pay-per-view. You can't keep falling into that. And now it becomes like of a broken record. Can they follow up and can they begin their new, after a pay-per-view and do real good? We're going to hear it again from the LaGrecas and all the others. This is one of the most important dynamites of the year. Following up every time they've been a colossal disappointment. Change the narrative.
I agree 100%. They didn't follow up after Revolution. I don't remember the last time they really followed up after a big pay-per-view. So I agree 100%. They need to follow up. Again, you could make your main event this Sunday or this Wednesday with MJF and Darby something. Just have MJF win. I think if we get Camille and maybe, she could surprise us. I'm not saying win, but let's say she does win and she just cuts the mic and speaks. It's not going to happen. But there's certain things you could do with these people that you have now that we saw on the show yesterday to put on Dynamite and make it interesting. My whole thing is, Kev, just follow up from what you did on, and again, it's repetitive. Follow up from what you did on Dynasty. Everything you did from Dynasty. Just it's not, come on. Don't give me random stuff. All right. They sort of did that with the Camille and Willow, right? Camille attacked Willow on Dynasty. Now they're having the match. Let's do that for everything. That's all I got. Anything else you got before we get ready for Monday Night Raw?
No. Thank you so much for subscribe. Help us continue to grow. Listen, we might not be everyone's cup of coffee. We're someone's cup of coffee. So again, check out our interviews here. If you go to our YouTube channel, it will just tell you from orders you want to watch our interviews, Independence, our TNA, or you're just fact checking us. Go ahead. If the views are there, you can see it's not 34 people, it's not 50 people, it's in the thousands for our interviews. And we'll continue to strive. If they give us wherever interviews that want to come and interview, we want to hear your story. If you're an independent wrestler, if you're a wrestler that's happening to come across our platform, we just want to hear your story about how do you fall in love with professional wrestling? Tell us about you because we want to know who you are in the wrestling business. Now we already know who you are, but we want to hear from you. What motivates you? What drives you? We want to know your personality, who you are. That's what we're here for. We want in the part of interviewing, and of course, check out our watch-alongs Monday Night Raw tonight on the Rumble and on Kick.
Indeed, you heard it from the man himself, ladies and gentlemen. I have been PGH Chris. This has been Kev, and we'll see you guys tonight on the Rumble for Monday Night Raw.